But how will these cues impact our own markets? We have a research team joining in to tell you just that. This is our Power Prep segment. Good morning, guys. A lot happening today, and that is something we'll be tracking very closely. But Sudarshan, let me come across to you first up. What are the stocks that we'll be focusing on today?
We'll start with Hindalco. Novelis has reported inline set of earnings for Q1, but flooding cost may impact Q2 earnings. Adjusted EBITDA has come in 19% higher at $500 million, and near to medium-term EBITDA per ton guidance maintained at $525 per ton. Godrej Consumer has reported Q1 earnings. Headline numbers were a mild miss, but internals are mixed. India reported volume growth has come at 10% versus estimate of 10 to 12%, and change in business model has impacted Africa revenue. Revenue was down 36% year-on-year. For Apollo Tyres, earnings were below estimates. EBITDA has missed estimates by 10% and was down 14% year-on-year. Sula Vineyards revenue has increased 12%, margin was flat at 28%. Welspun Corp margin expanded 300 bips and profit has risen 47% year-on-year. BSE, it was a strong set of earnings. Revenue has risen 24%, led by increased transaction charges. EBITDA has increased 19% and margin has come at a record high of 47%. Keep an eye on Marico. It has released the update on Bangladesh operations. It says operating conditions in Bangladesh is gradually improving and majority of retail sales force and distributors have resumed operations. UPL High Court of Australia rules in favor of Advanta Seeds and Protean eGov. Sources say Standard Chartered Bank is likely to sell 3.1% equity via block deals. For other companies which have released earnings, companies which have released a good set of earnings are Abbott, ITD Cementation, Gujarat Pipavav, Kirloskar Oil, CCL Products, KIMS and Radico Khaitan, and companies which have reported a weak set of earnings, NHPC, TVS Sri Chakra, GMM Fodler and Lemon Tree Hotels.
Okay, all right. So earnings keep coming in, but we are towards the fag end of the earnings season now. Thank you, Sudarshan, for that. Let me go across to Hormaz. Hormaz, looks like there could be some reversal in trade today.
A reversal indeed, and that's what the setup, the GIFT Nifty is currently pointing towards. It's a big day, of course, for the bulls because it's some very important event days, and it is the RBI policy today. It's also the weekly expiry for the Nifty. There's some important levels that the Nifty has to keep an eye out for. It ended just below 24,300 yesterday. Well, Monday's high of 24,350. That's where the bulls felt a little uncomfortable yesterday, reversed from those levels, and after that is 24,380, which is Tuesday's high. Then that is some important levels that the Nifty needs to keep an eye out for. You just mentioned it's a big day today. It's an RBI policy, the Nifty weekly expiry, and of course we'll keep an eye out for the weekly initial jobless claims also that come out from the US. Now, for most part of the trading session yesterday on Wall Street, the bulls would have felt that it's going to be yet another positive handover, but it wasn't to be because the indices reversed from the highs of the day. The Dow falling almost 700 points from the highs. All of the three indices ending lower, resulting in a negative handover. That was also because the muted response to the treasury auctions that took place yesterday. So as a result of which the Asian markets have also opened lower. The GIFT Nifty at one point was down 200 points. It's seen some bit of recovery there, currently around 170 points as a gap down, but still a gap down nonetheless. An important question to be asked is whether the move that we saw yesterday was the start of a sustained recovery or a bull trap ahead of the important events today. And of course, the Nifty Bank was the one that led the recovery in the final hour of trade yesterday because of the weekly expiry. So will that sustain as well? And of course, the beaten down PSU names that have corrected almost 25 to 30% from their peaks, they saw a bit of recovery yesterday. Will that see some reversal today if the market turns wobbly? And it's also important because a lot of these PSUs, be it RVNL, IRCON, Cochin Shipyard, all of them report earnings today. So we'll keep an eye out on this entire PSU basket. But for now, it's a gap down start for the Sensex and the Nifty.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for all those cues, Hormaz. Let me go across to Mangalam now. He's joining in with all the cues from the F&O space. Good morning, Mangalam.
Good morning. So if you look at all the indices yesterday, it was a good close. You had the Nifty closing above that 24,200 sort of mark. We had a good close on the Nifty Bank as well, upwards of 50,000. Mid-caps doing a lot better with a gain of almost 2.5%. All of that would tell you that maybe the downside on the indices are limited. And that will be the test in today's trading session, because after a weak handover from Wall Street, GIFT Nifty is indicating a cut of almost 175 points at the opening near that 24,150 sort of mark. Will that be a dip that the bulls will buy into? Is a question that we'll get an answer into. Why is it that the markets did well yesterday? One of the reasons could also be that the net cash flows were positive. Yes, the FIs sold 3,300 crores, but the DIs went ahead and bought 3,800 crores. So the net inflows were close to 500 crores, and that was one positive flow after a spate of net negative inflows as well. Irrespective of rallies or declines, the FIs continue to sell in index futures. Yesterday as well, they sold about 1,000 crores, and the net swing out there was close to 15,000 contracts. They unwound 5,000 long contracts, added about 10,000 short contracts, and as a result of which, if you compare their positioning from August 1, it's come down by almost 1 lakh long contracts, and the long positioning also has declined by about 10 percentage points from 66% all the way down to 56% itself. Today's Nifty weekly options expiry, what is the range that the street is playing for? On the way up, 24,400 will be extremely crucial to watch out for. That's where all the call writing action is taking place. And we've seen, resistance around 24,350, 24,380 thereabouts. And at the lower level, 24,200 put has been extremely active as well. In a sense, the option writers are expecting that 24,150 to 24,450 sort of range. On the way up, of course, the 20-day moving average will prove to be a crucial resistance for the Nifty. The Nifty Bank will be important, as everyone's pointed out. It's the RBI policy meet today. Just watch out for a couple of stocks. ABFRL enters F&O ban today. As we pointed out, granules and chambal fertilizers are out of F&O ban in today's trading session.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that, Mangdam. And thank you guys for joining us and telling us what to expect from the trading day today.